If you're a regular watcher of my videos, you probably realize I probably got a little bit of OCD to me every now and then. So recent video, I talked about how my rear tires on this thing were the insides were almost bald, so bought new rear tires. And it didn't drive right after I'm driving home from that, and it just didn't feel right. So I was thinking alignment. I got back into the alignment on this thing, and I think I did a couple of videos about that. But Porsche defines alignment specs, especially toe, into minutes of a degree. Most people get an alignment, it's down to a degree or 0.1 or 2 of a degree. Porsche goes further than that. When you're using the string, the smart racing products, smart string, smart camber like I do, uh, I'm going to link those into my description. So I got to say, I'm a member of the Amazon affiliate program. And if you buy something in my description that I link to, you pay the same price. I get a very small percentage. And I had to say that. I'm going to write in the description too. Pretty much converting minutes, degrees and minutes of arc into millimeters for toe in or toe out, measurement of the string, pretty much 0.3 millimeters. Actually, 0.7 is the tolerance, but 0.3 millimeter. That's how much you want it to be to get the toe exactly where you want it. And you can't. Mine won't get that far. I remembered, I looked through my records from when I messed with this thing last time 2 years ago, when I bought tires the last time, because the insides were worn out. You can't, I could not get an accurate, I could not get the camber where I wanted and the toe where I wanted. So I'm going to go through why I can't do that in this car and how Porsche doesn't offer a fix and how Porsche actually made it worse on my car's case. And I'm going to, well, let's go through that. This is an '08 Cayman S, a 987.1 in Porsche speak. Mine has PASM, Porsche Active Suspension Management, which means the car, because the springs on it is actually 10 millimeters lower from the factory when it rolls out. However, all the suspension parts are the same as a regular Porsche Cayman S and a base Cayman. And they're also the same parts that the 996, 997, 911s, the 986, and all the other 987s. I'm pretty sure the 997.2 and 987.2 all have the same suspension parts. Yes, a GT3 RS is going to be different. I think the turbo is different too. But they got the same part numbers and the same pieces. So let me show you all these things down here. Before I get to that, breaking in your tires. I never knew that was a thing. Never heard of that before. I always replace, well, in the last 20 years, I've always bought 4 tires at a time. I've never bought just the front axle or rear axle. And because my front tires still had more than half tread left, I just bought rear tires this time. Driving home, I was cruising along at 75 miles an hour speed limit, and the car's doing great. About 10 miles in the drive, I noticed when we get to a curve in the road, US highway, so it was just a gentle gradient curve or a bend in the road, that I could turn the wheel a little bit. Not much happened. A little bit more, the car darted. It was very darty. I was driving into a 10 or 12 knot headwind, so I thought, well, maybe it's just the wind. I don't have headwinds right here that often. I got crosswinds. And that's when I got in the alignment thing. It must be the alignment. I did something, who knows? Maybe I can fix it. The alignment was where I set it at 2 years ago, which was 1.7 or 1.8 camber, both rears, and just a hair toe in on both rears. But that's too much camber for my tire wear because I live on an island pretty much. I'm in a small town that's at least 40 miles away from any other town of size, and basically 60 miles away from a town that has stores we want to go shopping at or doctor visits. The speed limit's 75 in all those directions on 4-lane highway. I need to run 75 miles an hour down the 4-lane highway, just boring cruising all the time to get somewhere. That's what wore my tires out because I had too much camber. I want to lessen the camber. However, let me show you what I got and how that is. All right. You can see, just looking at it compared to the fender, that's 1.5 degrees or 1.6 degrees of camber. The top of the tire is angled in. It's that way. And I can't make it any less. Because, let me take the camera down here. Here's what we got. Turn on the light. I was unable to make the switch from tripod to hand. So let's go through the bottom here. All right. I'm on the bottom right rear corner of the car. This is the lower control arm. And it's adjusted by this eccentric right here. You can see I got a little bit of adjustment left to get less toe. I mean less camber. I can move it the part this way, which brings the bottom of the wheel assembly in. This is the other end of the lower control arm. And the trouble is, if I adjust that, it affects the toe. This is the toe adjustment. As you can see, I am all the way adjusted as much toe out as possible, and I'm still like 0.6 or 7 millimeter toe in. I cannot get it any less because if I go less camber, I get more toe in. I know it's weird, but you can adjust the camber and it affects toe every time. You can adjust the toe without affecting the camber. That's why you always adjust toe last. So the problem is two things. One, this part is the same as on the 986, 987s, 996, 997s, and the same basic parts on the 911s and Caymans and whatever they're calling the 718s and whatever they're not making anymore. This is the same part. But if you notice, because this housing is pretty much the same as what's in the front, that end is the same as the outer tie rod for the steering link. So what people have done is you buy an outer tie rod end, which goes to about here, has threads on the inside of it. Then you build yourself something to go here and connect into that. Then you can adjust the eccentric, and then you can get something to turn to make your toe, no matter where you set the camber, the toe will fit. Because my car, because it's lowered 10 millimeters from the factory, just does not allow enough toe adjustment if you want to run less camber. Now, if I'm going to be putting sticky tires on here and going to the track, yeah, I want more camber. I don't want the back end coming around on me. I want more. But because I do a lot of highway driving, I need less camber. I want my tires to last. They cost too much to just burn them up when I'm not using them for the good. All right, so there's a company called Tarrant that makes a piece that supposedly has a warranty. There's a couple places on eBay too that sell these. Just Porsche Rear Toe Link. You look it up, you can find them. They're adjustable rear toe link. And if my budget does not allow me to buy the toe links now. And yeah, if I bought new ones of these, which are like 160 a piece, and the adjustable ones are around 2 something a piece. I bought some of these, I might be able to get a hair more because I bet these bushings are probably dried out, but in the same way over there. But not that much. It won't give me the adjustability I really need. So that's why I cannot set the camber where I want it, because the toe goes out. I can set the camber where I want it, but I cannot get the toe right. So right now I have the best compromise, which is a little bit of toe in and too much camber. Because you don't want to be toe out. Because toe out causes you to possibly lose the back end when you're braking hard. And you might notice the car's pretty darn dirty. I went through probably the hardest rainfall I've ever been in a week or so in this car. It handled great, which comes back to the tires. Breaking in your tires. Never heard of that before. After my drive home, that was, whoa, what's going on here? I did mess with the alignment. Thing looked good, and it still did it. I could not get the alignment and the handling to equal. So I started researching online. Turns out, if you replace one axle, especially the rear on a rear, mid-engine car, there's my engine right there. All the weight's back here. The tire needs to be broken in. And on the Tire Rack website, it even says some tires require 300 to 1,000 miles of driving to be broken in. I never heard of that before. Never even thought of that. Like I said, I hadn't done one axle tires in a long time, especially on a sports car. So I would turn 800 miles the other day, and the handling's back like it used to be. It really is a thing. You got to break in your tires if you just buy one axle. Basically, what it is, these big fat back tires are pushing around the worn out, some half tread, thinner front tires. Turn the wheel a little bit, the back tires like, no, we're going straight. So you got to turn the angle of the front tires more to actually grip until it convinces the back tires we're turning now. And that was the darty thing I had. It's just the front and back were fighting each other. So Porsche, this piece here, there's one part number for the toe links, the rear toe links, and the differences. And you get also, if you lower your car and you want more camber, say above 2.1, 2.2, you're going the other way. You can't get your toe right. This thing has very small amount of adjustment. The camber is going to be between basically 1.4 and 1.9. And that's all you can do and keep the toe somewhat close. Otherwise, you got to get an adjustable rear toe link. That's what this video is about. So, hope that's a good teachable moment for all the Porsche people out there.